Hi, and welcome to Cat Run Figures. I'm your host, Caitlin, and today we'll be discussing Aftershock Comics Animosity 1 and 2. Animosity is written by Marguerite Bennett, who was also the writer of Marvel's Angela series, as well as DC Bombshells and many other great creations. I gotta tell ya, I understand why these books are sold out everywhere. They're fantastic. Basically, Animosity starts out with telling us all about all the animals in the world, and the animals, how they're being slaughtered, how they're being put down. There are rats that are being used in lab experiments. There's cattle that's being slaughtered. There's a dog that's being put down because he's sick and he's old. And it goes through all these panels talking about all these different things. And then it goes to the next page, and the animals are starting to become aware. And for some reason, they gain the ability to speak. And they understand things the way a human would, the way you and I would. And it goes from bad to worse when there are some animals who are fed up with humans and the way humans have treated them or mistreated them. And it's everything from pets who love their animals, or love their humans. Well, you know, some pets, we are their pets, you know, especially cats. But there's a great moment with the two main characters in the book. Sander, who's an old bloodhound, you see on the cover right here, and Jessie, who's his girl. And he looks at her and he says, "I love you. I just love you, Jessie." And she looks at him and she hugs him and says, "I love you too, Sander." And that's the first thing that he says to her. And it's beautiful. And that moment is ruined because all over the world there are animals that are attacking and killing people. And literally the very next panel, there's a bunch of birds who come dive bombing into their window, screaming, "Die, die, die, kill, die, die." And it's just craziness, and it's basically all-out war on the humans. And it goes into pets that are attempting to protect their humans. There's a great panel with a cat that goes over to the husband in the couple relationship, and he looks at him and says, "You ever hurt her again, I'll fucking kill you." And there's a bruise on his wife's arm. Clearly he's a wife beater, but this cat loves his owner, you know, so he's going to protect her. Well, there's a fantastic part in the first issue where Jessie gets thrown through a window and ends up in a situation where she's about ready to get attacked by a tiger. Well, Sander is standing between her and the tiger, and all the animals are basically going to band together in this, and the tiger's offering to put down the cub for Sander. And Sander says that he will make a rug out of this tiger if he touches his girl. And he kills the tiger, and it goes on to the next issue, which is months later, and it's them trying to rebuild this world with humans and animals all on the same level. And there's a fantastic panel in the second issue where it's a moose and some squirrels that are trying to put together some kind of a peace doctrine between the humans and the animals. And look at that. They have freaking guns trained on the senator. And they're making demands, and it's fantastic. But they're working on trying to rebuild the civilization, and since everything's just fallen apart, there's there's a shortage in food, and there's a lot of craziness that's going on, and it's everything from animals trying to work together, trade agreements with humans. Like, there are chickens that are looking for a human partner to sell their eggs for them for a 50-50 split. And there's a horse that's hanging out that's trying to barter for rides across the city. And, there's no phones, so there's no way to communicate with different parts of the world because the internet's down and the phones are down, and they've been down for a while. There are wild animals running loose that are very anti-human. There are human activist groups that go as far to be like suicide bombers and try to attack all these major animal groups. There's this really sad scene where Sander almost gets Jessie shot, and it's completely unintentional. He's attempting to protect her, but there's a man that has a gun, and the gun goes off, and her father blames Sander, and he beats Sander in public. And at the end of that scene, Sander's losing consciousness, and he's just begging for Jessie to look away. And then it skips ahead a couple more months, and Sander and Jessie are talking about how they need to leave, and they need to find Jessie's older brother. You find out that both of Jessie's parents are gone, and Sander's all she has left. She's a little girl, and she's scared and alone, and all this stuff's going on. There's a massive food shortage, and this is her dog who's here to protect her. And that's where it's gonna go. But honestly, I'm so excited to see where this goes. I mean, we've seen a lot of dystopian type, the apocalypse now type storylines, but this is what happens when the animals gain the intellect and the ability to express themselves. I mean, what would an animal think? I mean, yeah, wild birds are probably going to try to attack us. Gators are probably going to try to eat humans, but the next issue, the cover looks fantastic. It's this great art with Jessie and Sander and a bunch of other animals. And look at that. Tell me that doesn't look awesome. Like, they're ready to throw down. I mean, that turtle, it looks like he's got a frickin' rocket launcher strapped to his back. The koala bear up there's got 2 handguns. The deer's got frickin' grenades. Jessie's on top of what looks like a giant bison with a spike helmet. I mean, they're ready to go to war. I gotta tell you, Aftershock Comics is knocking it out of the park. This is another great book that they have coming out right now. If you're not reading this book, I don't know why you aren't, because it's fantastic. I'm loving it. If you can, pick it up in your local comic book shop. If you can't, wait for the trade, but you're missing out on some great stuff. Yeah, you're probably going to have to try to find it online or digitally if you want to read it now. But honestly, it's worth it. It's so worth it. It's so good. This is definitely staying on my pull list. I honestly cannot say enough great things about this book. Just pick it up. Pick it up. It's fantastic. Yeah, and that's it for this episode of Cat Run Figures. I'm your host, Caitlin, and have a good one. Bye.